Hi, I'm Lola Dart, and today's flexibility post is on being flexible with how long something takes. Oftentimes, we make an estimation, and it could be based on very valuable and reliable information. We estimate how long something's going to take us, and then it doesn't. That's okay. We need to be flexible on how long things are going to take, and often this comes in the evaluation stage. When we're making our observations about how things went, we can determine if we were realistic and then adjust from there. I'd like to share today a couple of personal anecdotes on times that I had to be flexible with how long something took. Last year, I had the privilege of picking up a lovely young lady from school and taking her to get her hair done, about once a month. I estimated it would take about an hour, 20 minutes to get to school and 20 minutes to get to the hair place, and then I threw in a 20-minute buffer for actually, parking at the school and getting her and traffic, etc. I estimated that and we were late by about 20 minutes. Then the next month, I did the same thing, and again, we were late by about 20 minutes. It wasn't until the third time that I realized I need to write this down. It actually was taking me about 80 minutes, not 60. So from that point forward, I scheduled myself 90 minutes, and we were always early by a few minutes to the hair appointment. It's a little example, but it has a lasting effect. And the impact is that we need to take how long something is actually taking us. So one way to be flexible in the scheduling and figuring out how long something takes is to figure out how long it actually takes and evaluate from there. So actuality, that's the first piece. But there are other ways to be flexible and other reasons to be flexible as well. So the other example I want to talk about today is when I schedule my classes for myself. Every morning, I like to spend 90 minutes just learning. At the beginning of the summer, I set up a routine for myself. I spent about 15 minutes a day sight reading on piano, learning to speak Spanish, learning to code in Ruby. Took an anatomy class, and I was also studying efficiency even more by reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I was giving myself about 15 minutes for each of these things. That's about 75 minutes. So give or take, it was my 90-minute learning block. And even though I really love learning and 90 minutes was appropriate, I was finding that I needed to adjust some pieces. Now, 15 minutes a day was perfect for learning music and learning a new language. Studies show us that all the time. But the other pieces needed a little bit of adjustment. The first piece I adjusted was efficiency. Efficiency is my focus in life, on this website, throughout everything. I love being efficient. So I realized that I wanted to give it a higher priority. And that's the second way to be flexible, is give your priorities more time. So what I decided to do is take an entire 30 minutes for efficiency every morning. Now this left me with 30 minutes left and 2 classes, anatomy and Ruby. So what I did here was I thought to myself, why is 15 minutes not really working for these 2 things? And the reason for me was that I actually needed more than 15 minutes to dive into a coding language and more than 15 minutes to really wrap my head around anything anatomy. So what I did here was give myself 30 minutes at a time to do these tasks. However, I rotated. On Monday, Wednesday now, I do anatomy, and on Tuesday, Thursday, I do coding. This helps me give the appropriate mental energy to each topic, but I'm also giving them the appropriate priority because I'm only doing each twice a week. This is another aspect of being flexible with how long something takes, giving yourself the time to really dive in. This is part of the feasibility aspect. It wasn't feasible for me to work on these things for 15 minutes a day, but it's totally feasible for me to work on it a half hour a day every other day. So when you sit down to schedule how long things are going to take, just remember that at the end of the week, you can be flexible. Figure out how long did things take in actuality. Are you giving them the appropriate priority? And what's the feasibility of spending only that amount of time on something? And from there, be flexible with how long something takes.